I'm glad he didn't have that extra line in there. But Austin Powers and a spoof on gold. Mark Lackey's no spoof. He's here, Executive VP, CHF Capital Markets.
Good to be here, Pat.
Well, good to see you. Gold. And I've been telling our viewers, watch gold at 1,300 to see if it finds any support, because that's where the resistance was on the way up.
That's right.
Is it going to find support again at $1,300?
Yeah, Pat, seasonally, as we both know, this is kind of entering the weakest part of the year. Generally speaking, April, May, June. And so when I look back at what we've been saying all along, we kind of anticipated a fairly good start of the year. We thought we'd see somewhat of a weaker situation, which has come to fruition here. And we think we'll probably go a little bit lower here in the next couple months before we start to see some recovery in the second half of the year, based upon some of the supply and demand conditions we believe are out there.
Okay. Let's talk about those supply and demand.
Right.
Because you and I have had this discussion before about China, India, those kinds of places.
And some people are saying, well, China's growth is slowing down a bit, Mark. Well, first of all, the Chinese economic growth is marginally lower than people had suggested. So I don't think that's going to be a big factor. And today's numbers that came out showed that China's actually very strong growth in gold demand, and particularly in the jewelry area. So that's maintained itself in China. The issue, of course, in India last year, Pat, was that there was an import tariff, as we all know. And that did slow down the demand for gold. It still grew, but it didn't grow as quickly. Now, the Indian government then reduced tariffs in the fall, and they reduced them again in January. And we think, from what we hear, they're going to reduce it some more because they now have their trade balance in pretty good shape. That was one of the things that bothered them, was all the imported gold was hurting their trade balance. So we think that jewelry will recover again in India. And jewelry demand is about 43% of all gold demand. The other point, Pat, is that recently people are saying, well, interest rates rising, and we've all agreed that interest rates are rising in the long end of the market, and we think some of that money is going to flow to commodities like gold out of the bond market. Well, some people are saying, well, those higher rates are not good for gold because a lot of margin players hold gold and they've got to pay higher interest rates. But you and I both know from our experience, Pat, that people tend to buy or borrow gold. It's in the short end of the market. And I don't think short end rates are going up anytime soon.
Okay. I'll take issue with something, though, because I've looked at supply and demand on gold, and, unless the central bankers are playing big, it's not a key driver, typically, to what's happening. So where are the central bankers?
Well, that's a good point, Pat. And your point's well taken, because if you go back between 2000 and 2010, central bankers were net sellers. Can you imagine where the price of gold could have even gone had they not been? They've been net buyers since. Now, some people are going to say, well, they're not huge net buyers. No, they're not. But my point is that those people that suggest they're going to become net sellers, I don't see it. I mean, they are slight net buyers, and they have been growing a little bit since 2010. So again, at the margin, it's a reasonably positive factor for gold.
Okay. So you've got supply and demand, you've got interest rates, but isn't gold really a currency?
Well, Pat, it is. And I mean, I think one of the reasons even something like Bitcoin has shown up is partly because people are losing more and more faith, I think, in some of the paper currencies. I go back to the United States. You still have a fairly significant budget deficit. You still have a trade deficit. The euro has its issues. And people are not willing to look at the Chinese currency at this point in time and say that's going to be a reserve currency. So I think that gold does still have some advantages. There's no question that the U.S. dollar has improved, and you've seen improvement in the U.S. economy. And so for those people that are looking at $2,000 gold, I'm not. But on the other hand, I'm not at the $800 level where, I mean, there's a really wide variance right now. The guys at 800, one of the things I disagree with, they still don't seem to recognize that some projects have actually been deferred here that were coming on in the next 2 years, Pat. I can think of one big one in the Philippines, one big one in Peru. Those have been deferred for at least 3 or 4 years. So the supply numbers aren't going to be nearly as fast as we had earlier thought, and I think that's something not everybody may be taking into account.
Okay, against that background, that wide range, you're recommending 3 companies.
Right.
Ecuador Gold.
Right. Well, Ecuador Gold appeals to me, Pat, because again, they came out with news yesterday. They now have, when you look at their inferred and indicated, they're upwards of 10.5, 11 million ounces. This is a pretty significant amount of gold for a small company. It's got veteran management that's extremely well connected in the mining industry, both people that have run mines and have been on the street here in Toronto as analysts. So I think it's a very good situation, and people say, well, why aren't these stocks maybe doing better? There's 500 gold companies. You got to differentiate yourself. The one thing Glenn Lang's doing right now is he's out there marketing himself, marketing the company. And I think, as opposed to some people who think their stories will sell themselves, Glenn recognizes he's out there trying to get the story out. And I think over time he's going to be successful, especially if we see the kind of gold numbers I'm expecting. Plus, one other thing I would say about Ecuador, it's a jurisdiction that's kind of neutral. It's not terrific, but it's not bad. But the Chinese like working in Ecuador, and I think that they've been buying up some of the other mines in the area, and I think ultimately Ecuador Gold could easily be a takeover candidate given the numbers they've got.
Okay, good. Probe Mines.
Well, Probe Mines is an interesting play. I mean, my old colleague Bill Godson at Raymond James, I have to give him credit. I didn't follow this story until he got me involved. And, I was like a lot of people. I looked at Northern Ontario and I said, probably most of the gold has been found up there. What could really be left? Right. And Probe has proved to people, who thought that maybe there wasn't any new gold districts, that that's in fact incorrect. Their drilling results have been fantastic. They've continued to grow this company. The stock price has gone up to $340, and that's in a relatively bad gold market. Imagine where it would be in a good gold market. And talk about a takeover candidate, I would say of the mid caps in Ontario, this jumps out at me because this has got even more upside here. The more drilling they do, they just don't seem to pull bad holes. Everything just seems to be getting better and better in this camp.
Yeah, no geopolitical risk. What about Moneta
right.
Porcupine Mines?
Here's another one, Pat, that's sitting up in Timmins. They've got about 4 million between indicated and inferred. And again, people are not paying enough attention to Timmins. You've pulled out millions of ounces there. And this old argument again, well, what could be left? Wouldn't the majors all have found it? I worked for a major. Quite frankly, you can't do everything. We didn't find everything on our properties. So I think it's important for people to realize that there's still some great opportunities in Northern Ontario. This is a company, too, where I think the management's going to get out more into the market, get its story out, and so that people recognize, again, you have to distinguish yourself from the other 500 people that are in this game in the gold mining sector.
Okay. Well, 3 good ideas.
Well, it was great to be here, Pat.
Always great. Mark Lackey. We have a great discussion every time. Mark Lackey, Executive VP at CH.